This is my friend Gina Cates. I'm at her house today. We're going to be talking about horses and what Gina's done through the years. Hey Gina.
Hi.
Okay.
I'm gonna take her through and show her the colts. I started raising horses because I'm like a lot of other people that always wanted the nice horses but can't always afford them. So I had some nice mares and decided to start breeding them, and we've had some luck. Always looking to get a little bit faster.
You're not originally from Arkansas.
No, I came up here through college, rodeo, and ended up staying and teaching in at Parker's Chapel in El Dorado, Arkansas. And then later on, I ended up having a husband that was killed and raised the two kids and still had horses, but pretty much horses that taught me a lot more than any one person could have. I couldn't afford the good horses, so I took what I could get, usually horses with issues, and got them going and maybe sold them. Time went on and I met my husband that I'm married to now, and we moved over here.
You got scholarships?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I had a full scholarship to several of the places. I started off in Murray, Kentucky, stayed there for 2 years, and then went one semester down there to McNeese because I had a full ride. And then my first husband, ended up talking me coming to SAU, and I finished out there and went to the college finals several times.
Oh, okay, awesome. Was it in Wyoming
It was
then?
in Bozeman, Montana.
Bozeman, Montana.
Yes.
Okay.
So
You've got some more out here?
I have them everywhere.
The process when you have raising horses.
It is a process, and people usually don't understand what all you go through just to get the babies on the ground. I had 2 years where I lost 4 babies.
Oh, wow.
3 of them we lost to stuff that's called Clostridium.
Clostridium, so it had something to do with the milk?
It does not. It has to do with something. It's like parvo is in dogs.
Okay.
Babies are born fine, and within 24 hours they can be dead.
Oh. Now, do you sell some of your horses?
I do sell some. I don't probably sell enough because I'm up to about 17 or 18 head right now.
You come out of college, did you go right into pro, or did you take some time off? Did you do amateur?
Well, actually, this will date me for sure. Back when I started as a kid, I had my card. That was back before they had it to where you had to be 18. And like I said, I had my card and would run against everybody.
Adults.
Yes.
Yeah, they're adults.
Yes.
Yeah.
Knowing how I ride and what I like, I try to get the more radier type of horses. And I had a flip bar horse, Shadow Bar, when I was a kid, and like I said, the horses have taught me more than any person ever could. He could win with anything in the country. We would go out west during the summers and take him, and he could win if you could get past the barrels.
Your dad was like, okay, you want a barrel race, and he was behind you.
He loved it as much as we did.
Oh, well, because your sister runs also, doesn't she?
She does. She has made it to the NFR. I think that was in 2006, and she still runs. Like I said, it takes a special horse, which I call a freak, to be able to make it to the NFR, because you've got to have something that can handle the road, handle anything
Here she's wanting to know what we're doing.
This is how pretty much all of mine are. This is Rush. Guy's my daddy. She came out of South Dakota, and I bought her as a 5-year-old. She's 20.
Oh,
and everything I ride is out of her.
Oh, wow. So she is mama.
She is the mama. She is the queen bee.
Oh, look at that booty.
And actually, the places that she would do the best at was out west and the big old pens. And people laugh when I tell them that because she's 14 too, and she's built like a tank.
Oh, she is.
but she was going to always go out there and turn. So many horses will go out west in those big pens where there's no fences, basically, and they'll just go slam past the barrels. And you could run her 9-0 and fingertip her whoa, and she's going to eat the barrels up. And so was kind of her cup of tea.
And that's why you are still using her to be mama.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. She is bred right now to Famous Sierra. And like I said, her daughter's right there. You can tell if you don't know one from the other, it's hard to tell them out in the pasture.
Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that.
She is out of Rush, which I said was Frenchman's Guy, and then out of Dash to Heaven.
Okay.
And she is just as consistent as her mother, but a little bit easier to ride. Her mama wasn't very forgiving. If you sat down too soon, you were probably going to catch the barrel.
She felt you, and she felt your seat.
She was shutting down, which, like I said, made her good in some aspects and hard to ride in other. But now Glitter is a little bit, like I said, more forgiving. She's more like, well, I don't think you really meant to do that, so I'm just going to do what I think I need to do.
Okay.
But she's consistent.
Now she's 20 and she looks really good, and which I know we got lots of products out there on the market right now. Is she on supplements?
She's not on supplements. She is on the Regimate right now because she's older, and we're making sure that she holds that baby. She just, as you can see, they've got good pasture.
Yes.
They do alfalfa, and I just do a 12% sweet feed with the alfalfa and the rice bran, and it's worked for me.
You try to keep it simple, not complicated.
I try to keep it simple, and like I said, I have so many of them.
In the pro, because you still got your card. Am I right?
I still have my card. I haven't gone really any. The Southeastern Circuit is really hard from where I live. It's a lot easier, not so far as, I'm not meaning the competition, but I'm talking about getting to rodeo if you live in Florida. That's one thing I miss about Florida, and the weather, of course.
Because that's where the Southeastern Circuit finals are at Florida.
Right.
In Davie, is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And so if you're gonna really try to make the top, you're gonna have to travel. You're gonna have to go to Florida unless you have sure enough a freak that can place at some of these top rodeos like Jackson and that, where everybody, because our circuit is the one that has the last rodeos of the year pretty much, and the first rodeos of the year. So you get a lot of the top dogs there. So you better have something that can sure enough cut the clock off in order to place.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're here in the shade just a little bit. What's the temp out here, you think?
It's probably close to 93, 94 without the heat index.
I mean, the horses are in the shade too, and they're just a sweating. And so, but we got a couple out there that are grazing in the sunshine. So now you were telling me that you had Flip Bar was who got you really started. You really like that bloodline.
I do. It's one of the older bloodlines, but it's still very prevalent in a lot of today's horses. They're real ratty normally. Usually have a head full of sense, and so I started with that originally when I was still young. When I had young kids, I think my first child, Reese, was probably 5 or so. She was a paint mare. It was back when everybody wanted the paints, and I bought her and took her out there to Junior Hudspeth to get her bred. And the first year I bred her to a Foot Bar beggar, and I ended up getting a mare, and I've kept her. She passed away last year at 27, and some of these babies are hers. The one standing right there is one out of a Red's Western Native, and anybody can ride him, and he is a heck of a team roping horse. Could have gone anywhere with the team roping, but he's also a nice barrel horse. But you can put somebody that knows how to ride, but maybe not know so much about the barrels, and he'll take care of them. So he'll never leave either.
You are breeding your own horses, you know what you like, and you seem to really enjoy it.
I do enjoy it. It does have its ups and downs, but the same as with any job. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to have the husband that I have who helps with the breeding. He helps me with feeding them, but I couldn't do it without him. He
Because
cuts hay.
you use the word job, J-O-B. Because you have 17. It does turn into a job.
It does, because you're out here whether it's hot or whether it's freezing cold.
And when you pay your entry fee, you are looking to gain. You're wanting to gain. It's not just a weekend fun day for you. I mean, some of it is. It has to be some fun in it, or I don't think people would continue to do it if they didn't enjoy it.
It is enjoyable. It is a lot of work. My husband, he said, I wouldn't back you as much as I do if I didn't see what you go through to get where you're at. And trying to explain that to somebody, why do you do it even when everything is going backwards? And so I sat and thought long and hard, what is it? What is that want to, that it's not that you like everything. And the best way I could explain it to him was it's almost like an instinct. It's just something you can't take out of you, and it's something that God puts in you. And he has blessed me. Am I where I want to be? Nowhere close. But I do enjoy it, and it's something about that 15, 16 seconds that is just an adrenaline rush.
If you were going to offer some advice to somebody who's just getting started, what would you say?
In a word, old horse that's been there, done that. People shy away from the 18 to 20-year-olds, and they are your best bet.
Yeah, because you said your horse lived to be 27.
Hey, booger. Hey. This one is out of my old flip bar mare, and out of Prime Talent, which was a running stud. And this is her famous Sierra baby right here.
Oh my, pretty thing.
This is a mare that was on the track, and I had to buy her this year to make sure I got the Dash to Heaven stud fee, and that's her Ain't Seen Nothing Yet filly.
And then nip me, aren't you? Yes.
They will like to play.
Yeah, yeah. No.
That one
No,
especially.
no.
That one
No,
is a
no.
little toot.
Yes.
She is a famous Sierra, which is also her sire is a Dash to Heaven. So there you go, back to the Dash to Heaven again. I really like the Dash to Heaven. They can be quirky, but they are almost all talented out of any.
She didn't just walk out here and these babies just says, "Oh, I want to be with you." This is
time.
how often do you walk out here and just rub them from?
Usually I come out here pretty much every day and play with. I call playing with them. I love the babies, but you got to watch them. This one is out of Rush. My Frenchman's Guy out of Slick by Design, 2-year-old. We just got him back from the trainer, and I still haven't got her sent off. 2-year-old.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
Oh my.
He just came back being broke.
Well, that Palomina's gonna be a hunka.
And his mama was not that big. His mama was one that I did buy. She was a blue roan. He's actually a Palomino roan. It's hard to tell when he's sweaty.
Yeah.
One of the only ones I've ever seen. But she was a little bit fractious, so I used a Fire on Bug stud fee on him because he kind of, like I said, the flip bars usually tone it down a little bit, still bring the ability, but just a little more chill. And then she's out of, like I said, Slick by Design. She's not very tall, but her mama's not very tall, but just kind of not in the biggest of hurry with her, just because if I can give her a little bit more time to grow, that's fine. But
You know, your chin is just barely at her withers. Let's let her grow some more. And she,
yeah, she's a toot. She rules the roost, she thinks.
So we're back up here under the shade tree. I wish y'all would really like to see my face right now, but she's doing good. She's still got her hair down. Do you go back and watch your videos?
I do go back and watch my videos, especially I like to get them all because something can happen just out of the way, and sometimes you're wondering what was that, and sometimes you think it's one thing and then you go back and you're like, oh well, that wasn't what happened at all. But especially on the young horses, because until you get them good and seasoned, things are going to happen. If you ride enough you're going to look like an idiot at times, and you just got to blow it off. And a lot of people worried about what somebody else thinks. If anybody else is a rider and they have been around any time at all, it's happened to them. They don't think twice about it.
You're not guaranteed anything when you run down the alley.
No.
I mean, like you were talking about at that second barrel, I mean, there's things going on in the stands. There's kids running around. There's a distraction. And people say, oh, you're blaming it. Well, you know, it is the real world.
It is, and that's the whole part of seasoning. That's why seasoned horses cost so much money, because somebody has gone out there to do it. Some horses are definitely easier than others, but it happens to all of us. If you're out there, those horses that you're getting seasoned at some point or time, they've got to learn. They've got to learn how to handle ground and stuff going on, whether it's the fireworks on the 4th of July or kids run up and down the metal bleachers. It's a process, and it's an expensive process because, like I said, I didn't win money that day and I didn't win money yesterday. But you know that, or you should know that going into this, that it is a process. And
when do you think a person would know if they're ready to start competing in rodeos? Any rodeo association, amateur, pro? I mean, I realize pro, you're really wanting to have a really nice horse, but there's a learning curve there. Also, even with amateur rodeo, there's a learning curve, isn't it? Or am I?
You pretty much need at least a good, solid 2D horse. Some of the best rodeo horses are not the ones that are going to clock. And when I say clock, I mean take the top money in a 1D with 600, 700 people. They just handle the other variables better.
Living the dream. Now, did you wear that on purpose?
I did. I actually pulled that out, and I thought, because people think that what you do, I get it all the time. People saying, oh gosh, I wish that was what, all I had to do was ride horses. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure you would really want to do that, especially with some of them that you have to lunge and put on the walker before you run. But I am blessed. I am doing what I want to do. But it's not a walk in the park.
No. Mm-mm. Your dream is a working dream. I mean, like you said, it's a job.
And it's time and years, because a breeding program does not happen overnight. You're talking about it's going on to 30 years in the makings. And, like I said, I'm still not where I want to be.
We have so many incentive runs right now. You got the Ruby Buck, we got the Pink Buck, we got the BFA, then you got... there's just tons of them. And where do you see rodeo and barrel races in the next 10 years? Do you think it's going to be going this strong?
It's definitely getting better for us because of the incentive races, slot races. You might have to put more money into it, but there's more money to be won. This economy has not been advantageous here the last 3 years. It's getting more expensive to go. If you don't have somebody who buddies with you, which the money is there, but you still got to have a good horse to be pretty well sure you're gonna, say at the Pink or the Ruby Buckle, place in the top. And then after that, it's kind of a gamble where you fall. So it's helpful to the ones that have maybe a colt, like my colt, my 4-year-old, he placed at the breeders, and so we'll go to Fort Worth here in September, and really and truly that's just a gift from God, because he wasn't in the top, but he hit in the right spot. So to me, the incentives that you pay one time and then you're in, those are a blessing to me, because I've done better at those than, say, the ones that you're paying $200 per horse a year. Those add up, and then you still got a big hefty entry fee, $500, and then getting there, because there's none really close to us. Where the Future Fortunes, you pay them in and they're in for life. Even if I raise them and I pay them in, I can get paid off a horse that I've sold years later as the breeder, which is nice, because I've paid that in as a baby, and then I can still reap the benefits for years to come. So it is helpful as a breeder, especially.
You had some words of wisdom. Would you?
Probably the best thing is get if you're just starting out, get help from somebody that's been there and done that, and they can tell you the ups and downs of it. Like I said, they have a bunch of clinics that you can go to. I personally haven't gone that route. Like I said, the horses have basically taught me more than any person, I feel like. But there's a lot of help out there nowadays.
It really is. It really is. Well, Gina, we have been so tickled to come up here and you to share your horses with us, to show your thoughts with us, to share your sun and heat with us. Living the dream. She's living the dream. Thank you.
Yes.